Hey guys, Ron Musgraves, Pressure Washing Institute, Contractors First. Hey, I'm here with Chris Johnson today. How are you doing, Chris? Introduce yourself and tell us what we're here to do today.
Hey, so I'm Chris Johnson, former exterior cleaner. Had done that for literally over 23, 24 years of my life. I'm a full-time coach, trainer, mentor, and public speaker. And my only goal every day is to help level people up, help give them the confidence and the courage to believe in themselves and believe that their dreams are possible.
That's awesome, awesome stuff. Where did we first meet? Just out of curiosity.
Back years ago, it might have been 3 or 4 years ago at a TChem event. I can't. It
Camp,
was
right
somewhere in
there
North.
near Charlotte. Yeah,
Yeah,
right there outside. It was outside of Charlotte. That's
yeah,
right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That was a really good event. There was you also met Judd West there.
Hmm.
Stain and Sealing Pros were there, which they're going to have a huge
No,
event in March 4th and 5th. You know, you should think about coming to that event. I think you'd be a good fit for that event. You know Caleb Roth. You met him there, didn't you?
I think I did.
Yeah, he's he's
Yeah.
he's he's an up and coming rock star in the wood restoration industry. Well, I wouldn't say up and coming. He's already came and he's doing a really good job of it. I say younger guys because
Yeah.
anybody that's 35 and younger, that's younger to us. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We're
Yeah.
we're up there now. It's funny because when 25 years ago I made fun of those same kids now that are making fun of me. So,
I know,
you
right?
know, yeah, it's funny. It's funny
Yeah.
stuff. Funny stuff. But
That's,
yeah, I when we were in the green room, you and I were chatting, and I think we ought to rekindle that story that you were telling me about how you met Jeff Price and how this journey all came about because that's a pretty interesting thing that you've been doing this. You said how many years now you've been doing it? 19?
so it was 19 years. I started in 2006 and I ended in 2023, the end of 2023, and went into coaching. And so the reason I started exterior cleaning was literally out of desperation. We had moved. I just recently got saved and met the Lord. And I just come out of an 8-year drug addiction prior to 2005. And so my life was in shambles. And when I got where we went with the Lord and me and my wife moved to get away from all the drugs and that affiliation here, I had nothing. I had nowhere to go. I couldn't find work. And so I literally borrowed $500 and went and bought a pressure washer from Lowe's, a garden hose, and 500 Vistaprint cards. And I literally, Ron, I would walk 7, 8 hours a day, door to door, out of sheer desperation to eat. And I would hand people cards and say, I'd love to wash your house. I don't really have a price. Just I don't care. Just I'll do anything. I mean, I literally would do anything to eat. And so that went on for a few years and we learned how to do it. And I got pretty good at it with my Troy built. And man, believe it or not, we stayed with the Troy build up into 2019. Like, that's legit. It was insane looking back on it. But then I got a corporate job. And so for 10 years of my life, I was at Pepsi. And that's where I met Jeff Price. And so I walked in his shop one day to put a vending machine in his place of business and noticed he had 2 huge trailers with pressure washers on them. And I thought, that's bizarre. There ain't that much work in pressure washing, because I only have what I know. And so upon having a conversation with him, he blew my mind. And this is what he did full time. And I thought, this is insane. And so I began to go back around week after week, and I was hungry for information and desperate to learn. And I'm thinking, my goodness, I had never made more than $14,000 a year with my pressure washer. Now, while I was at Pepsi, I didn't need the money. So it didn't matter, right?
Yeah, you were the $75 guy, you told me.
Yes. We washed 1,400 square foot homes for 75 to 80 bucks. And my most expensive wash was $150. It's the most I'd ever made on one wash. And anyway, in February of 2019, I went into the PWMCA in Myrtle Beach, and I met Pat Clark, and I met Jeff, and seen his layout, and Jamie Smith and Ray Burke. I met all these guys, and I started hearing the stories, and I sat there in sheer awe that this is real. And after that event, March 8th, 1 month later, I literally left Pepsi, and I told my wife, we're going to go wash full time. And I had never made more than $14,000 a year. And she said, you're crazy. And I said, no, we're limited at Pepsi. The pressure washing is unlimited. I have been around people that have broke my brain. I know we can do this. And that first year, we left in March. And that first year, I learned and grew and absorbed everything I could. And we ended that year on $116,000 my first year. And I had to cull all my customers and get rid of them, because as my prices started increasing and I started learning, it was all new customers. So our first year, I literally say, was in 2019, when I actually learned how to run a pressure washing company. It was mind-blowing, Ron, mind-blowing.
Yeah, you know how many guys I know that don't know how to downstream or don't know what a variable pressure wand is?
Mm-hmm.
And when they put one in their hands and they figured out that, you mean I don't need a remote? All I got to do is twist this handle and the soap comes, and tighten the handle back up and the soap stops. And it's funny because people don't even understand or realize that 98% of the industry downstreams, but we've got all these gargantuan people out there selling soft wash rigs worth $50,000 to a guy in the desert in Phoenix, Arizona, where there is no mold, and they need a pressure washer. You know what I mean? It just blows my mind. But anyways, you don't sell equipment, so you're not going to be mad at me. But that's why all the equipment guys get mad at me, because I always tell people, you don't got to start off with no $50,000 washing machine. And you're proof. You had a what brand was it?
A Troy-Bilt.
Troy-Bilt. Now, guys, before you don't get excited. I don't suggest you go down to Home Depot. I think you should start properly. We should start properly. But there's a medium between Troy-Bilt and $50,000 rig. There's a place in there that you can do it for the right amount. I always tell everybody to go get some training and to try it before you step into it. And you know what I want to do? I want to tell everybody this too. I got Chris on here because I've known Chris. I know he's the real deal as far as we call guys, gurus. He's going to tell you a little bit about a program that he has on the deal. But the reason I got him on here, he's got real experience, real hardship as far as trying to grow his business. And then, obviously you just explained your story where you stumbled onto this thing. And I don't think guys understand enough that, maybe potentially jumping head over heels and grabbing a coach to help them run a business. Maybe they should go get some fundamental training, or like go start washing relatives and friends' homes. See if you even like it before you go spend $50,000 on a rig or $20,000 on a coaching program, And I'm not saying your coaching program's 20 grand, but before you spend a penny, you know what I mean? It is. There you go. It is 20. I guessed it.
It is.
So
yeah, it is.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I don't think people do that. I don't know if you saw my meme the other day too. I hope you agree with and if you don't, it's okay. We can still be friends. But I had a meme up and says, if your coach tells you not to quit your part-time job, that's not for you. That's for his security to make sure you can pay his bill. Now the bottom line is, man, I always tell people, Chris, when I do a seminar, and you can ask from my last seminar, I got a guy right now. There was one guy that had a job, and you know what I told him to do? Call his wife up right now. It was a Friday, and I said, honey, this guy's telling me I'm not going to work on Monday. I'm going to go out in the field and start selling pressure washing. Now, I don't know if he did that, But
You should.
that's what I tell everybody to do. That's going to be one of my 2 tips that I give today. If
Yeah.
you have a job and you know you want to do this business, first know you want to do it. Of course, don't
Right.
just jump in and say, "Hey man, I don't want to do this. I made a mistake and I quit my 20-year. I was 4 months away from a pension at my job." Of course, you're 4 months away from your pension. Don't quit your job. Get your pension, then quit your job. But I mean, these guys don't realize that you can't be great if you're doing something part-time. And you're a testimonial of that because you were doing it for 9 or 10 years. And
Yeah.
and
You know, and you know what come about though, Ron? After I actually went in full time and I really got serious about it. Our first year, we closed out the year with 116. In year 2, I actually hired a coach. I had a coach in my corner because I didn't know what I didn't know. And I started applying some really cool sales processes. And I was a salesman at Pepsi, but that's corporate sales. That's square footage and ROI on per square footages of a rack standing up with a drink on it. I understood all kind of different math that don't apply to our industry, but I didn't know how to convert it over, right? And when I got my coach, he started helping me shift my mind into per square foot pricing, linear foot pricing, and I was not pricing that way. So my first year, our average ticket was around $250 to $300. That was our average ticket. The year I left the pressure washing world in 2023 to the beginning of 2024, my average house wash was $2,032. In literally 4.5 to 5 years, I grew my average ticket to over $2,000 for a residential house wash. And I did that by system of processes I put in place that I really, that's what I teach people. Is how do you do that? And that's what we're going to talk about today, because that's a big deal.
What do you think the number one sales problem is that these guys are having? I mean, what do you think that problem is?
The number one problem is they don't believe in what they're selling. They don't believe in the value of what they're selling. They think that washing houses is just washing houses. But see, I look at it totally different. I look at washing houses as a premium offer to anybody because, see, if I was in the HVAC world, I would probably give a lot of my product away because people need air conditioning, they need heat in the winter, and I would feel bad for somebody that couldn't really afford it, and I would give it to them. See, in the pressure washing world, I don't feel bad for anybody because this is a luxury. To wash your house and to beautify your exterior and to remove mildew and mold from your back porch so you don't slip and fall, that's not a necessity. That's a luxury.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I aggressively raise my prices, because I truly believe that if you're gonna have a Rolls Royce, you're gonna want the most notable, most expensive, most professional company wash it. If you live in a $400,000 house or a $2 million house, you want the very best, the very brightest, the very most professional company treating and washing and taking care of the beauty of the outside of your home.
Give me your number one thing you say to close deals. Let's hear it. Let's hear what do you do? How do you do it?
I just ask for it. Literally, like, so I'm a personality profiler too. So I profile human behavior. That's what I do now for a living. And so there's 4 profiles. There's your dominant profile, your influencing profile, and then there's your real steady, loyal profile. Then there's your data or analytical profile. And so as I'm walking a property, I'm analyzing the human behavior characteristics of an individual to see, are they in a hurry? Are they decisive? Are they ready to pull the trigger? Do they not want the fluff? They don't need the sales.
And how good have you gotten at it? How
really,
good?
Really good.
You size them up in 2 minutes,
yeah.
30 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you got a high D personality, man, all you have to do to close them is literally one of their biggest fears is to being taken advantage of. If you know that, I can kill that with one sentence. Hey, man, so I know one of your biggest fears is being taken advantage of, and that's probably happened to you in the past. But I want you to know, you looked us up online and you've seen our Google reviews and you've seen our ratings, and those are real. And here's a list of 10 people that you can call when you get time. I'm going to leave this list with you. These are real people, real phone numbers that we've worked with. I want you to call them and talk to them about our service. But here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to cut all the fluff out of it. And I'm just going to let you know we can be here next Tuesday, and we will be here at 8 a.m., and we will be on time, and we will be done in one day. And we're going to do everything we talked about today for $3,245.
And it's a done deal.
And it's a done deal. Because I just hit everything he wanted and thought and feared. I hit it in one sentence. And he's done.
Yeah. People don't, I didn't know we were going to talk about personality profiles today. They don't know about it. You know what I mean? I'll bet you more people, and it probably only not, it baffles me that people don't know about downstreaming. They don't know about the variable wand. I mean, they don't know about all these things in our industry. And I'll bet you even less know about personality profiles. And you said it earlier. I don't remember if it was in the green room or not, but a pressure washing guy is just you, especially if they're a one man in a truck, they are the marketing and sales team.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what they've got to know these things, you know what I mean? And set them up. Here's a direction I want to go. So give me you onboard me for your program. Okay. And we'll talk about the pricing at the end, but you onboard, because I never talk about pricing with a customer until I've done everything. Right. I mean, that's the hardest part. You don't talk about the pricing until you sold them, And so now you want me, let's just do this a little bit. We'll ad lib a little bit here. And so I've decided I'm going to move forward with you, and I'm wrote the check out. What's an onboarding process look like for Ron Musgraves if I want to come on board your program, and kind of tell me what it looks like over a period of, whatever it takes usually to get somebody, going in the right direction. I'm not saying straightened out completely, because some people don't understand sometimes that's an 18-month journey. Okay. And I don't think people realize that. Nobody wants to ever hear the truth. They want to, tomorrow we're going to be making $1 million. Well, that ain't reality. Okay. Right. There's work involved. And so give me the short onboarding process. Give it to me. Okay. Let me see it.
Well, let me back up just a hair, okay. If you allow me to, just a hair.
Did I buy too soon?
No, well, I want people to know why they need to buy. And now this is prime, okay? So if you're listening to this podcast, I'm not trying to convince you to buy my coaching at this point, because I don't want to convince you to anything. I don't need your money, to be honest with you. I just don't. And so what I want you to understand, though, what I'm fixing to say, if you'll listen to it and apply it to your business, it will triple your average ticket immediately. I guarantee it. Here's the reality. Nobody buys anything without knowing what problem it solved first. So let me give you an example. In my coaching business, I want to know what problem you have. I want to ask you, how's the communication between you and your technicians? How's the communication between your sales team and your client base, your prospect? How's your marketing going? Is your close rate where you want it to be? Are your average tickets enough to keep you profitable through the wintertime? Do you have enough?
So you're ready to dig into their biggest problems first.
Yeah, because that's the most important thing people want to fix. And so if you're a salesperson on here, a pressure washing guy, an HVAC guy, a landscape guy, what problem do you solve for your client? You need to get them to see.
Oh, I've got a question for you then.
Go ahead.
What is the number one problem out of these 100 guys or 1,000 guys you've coached, however many? Just the bulk of guys you coach. What's the 1 and 2 problem? I'm curious. I got an idea in my head, but I just want to hear what you have to say about it.
One of the number one problems for entrepreneurs it's a belief system. So if my whole goal is to shift the belief before I shift the activity, because if I can get you to do a lot of things and you don't believe in what we're doing and you don't understand why we're doing it, you will always revert back to your belief system. Now, here's what I want to get you to understand. Doubt and belief in an outcome are belief. You're believing something. I either believe it's going to work or I doubt it will. Either one of those are a belief. The problem with entrepreneurs that I've seen in my coaching program across the board, they don't believe right. Their belief is not big enough to move them into the hard things. Their belief is not big enough to hire a technician because they don't believe anybody's able to do it the way they do it. They don't hire a salesman because they don't believe anybody's going to sell and care for it the way they do. It's a belief problem. If we can fix the belief problem, we can fix every other problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's for certain. That is absolutely for certain. And that's usually, what I always do in the middle of when I told you what I first do is tell people to quit their job. But, I always try to stand up these guys and ask them, or at least put it in their head, what is it that you're doing currently right now? I mean, what do you believe? Because I'm only going to fix their sales, marketing, and whatnot. I always try to tell people I'm not trying to triple your company. I'm not trying to figure out your employee problems, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the worst guy in the world with employees, man. I am. That's one of my biggest weaknesses. And I guess here's one of these things I think that is a smart thing. People don't know what their weaknesses are, and they really need to know what their weaknesses are. And one of my weaknesses was employees. It still is to this day. I can't handle employees. I'm the worst at it. I don't know if you've seen some of my funny videos about employees. I threw a $1,200 camera at one of my lead techs one time, and he ducked. And of course, when he ducked, I was pissed off because it hit my brand new diesel 7.3 liter diesel, and it dented it, and I was going, why'd you duck? Either why don't you catch that thing or take it, but, anyway, they put a big old dent in the thing.
That's
and,
hilarious.
My daughter always laughs one time, because this goes way back. I one time had a fax machine stuck on my arm because I punched it, but, all over employees, all over. I don't have that kind of temper anymore, but one thing
Praise
is
Lord.
I don't want any employees, man. But we got to tell the stories how they are real. Most people don't tell the real stories,
That's right.
These are the real stories and the real journey, I dented a refrigerator in the office one time with an air can, but she ducked too. Obviously, she learned from my lead technician. So that was one of the gals in the office. But anyways, one thing I always try to tell these guys somewhere along in my part of the seminar, you've got to make this entire process, if it's not something that you want to make that's going to be enjoyable, then you're doing something wrong. Because I think that people, and I think you'll agree with this, they the first thing they think about sales is they think that it's going to be the cheesy used car salesman type mentality. And if you're selling like that, one, it ain't gonna be no fun for you. And believe me, I don't remember how many people ever walked into a dealership, walked out and said, man, that was great. What a great experience that was, other than they got a brand new car. I mean, that entire process, I can't even believe that they sell cars like that still. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, it blows my mind because it's got to be one of the worst sales experiences. And I always try to pick like the worst one versus the best one. I don't know if you're an Apple guy or not, but you walk into an Apple store and they make the sales process. Nobody's pushing you around.
Right.
Here's our products. By the way, we'll train you over here. We'll teach you how to use it. You know, I mean, they make everything so simple and so smooth. I talk about this a lot too with people that, you know, something more people can relate, right? We a lot of us go to Chick-fil-A. You know, you go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
You know, Pat Clark calls it God's chicken.
Yeah.
You know, hey, all the people in there are very presentable. They're smiling. They're greeting you. The place is clean. You know what I mean? And it attracts the type of people that they want to attract. You know, they're not, you know, it's not the, I hate to pick on Circle K, you know, but one of the worst experiences as far as I'm concerned, they're getting better because they've got autonomous stores now where you don't have to see anyone. I don't know if you've got those yet in North Carolina, because that's the best thing to do is walk into a Circle K and not have to see somebody. But I'm going to tell you this quick story. I walked into the Circle K. You know, you're going to a convenience store because you're semi in a hurry, right? We're going to pay, you know, $20 for a loaf of bread where we would have walked into the Kroger or the Piggly Wiggly and walk 6 miles to the back of the store to get it. So you're in a convenience store, so you expect to be, you know, a little bit speedy. I look around, there's nobody in this store. I'm like, where's the attendant, you know? And I'll be darned, he's outside, right? And you know what he's doing? He's taking a break. So he takes the drag of his cigarette, throws it down, stomps on it because he's upset that he's got to come in and help me at the cash register. I mean, that's exactly the worst experience that you could ever, you know, do. And I don't know what convenience stores you like, but we have one here. And every time I pay literally $2 more for a soda because when I walk in there, it's clean. They greet you. They say goodbye to you. You know, they're fast. The guy's always at the register. There's no looking around, where's he at? There's 4 or 5 guys in the store all the time. You know, that's the type of experience that I pay $2 more for. And I think you were talking about this earlier. If you want to sell a luxury service, not a $75 pressure wash, you're looking and targeting a specific person.
100%.
You know? And once you start becoming attracted, they should be, I should say, start attracting them to your brand.
Yeah.
It becomes much easier.
Yes.
To do it. And you're right. It is all up here because you have to visualize it. You have to believe it yourself, because until you believe it yourself, and everybody's gone through what you went through. None of us ever started this business and thought we could get $2,000 for a grease spill we once would be happy to clean up for $200.
Right.
No one ever thought that you would do that. You know what I mean? That you would get to that point. But eventually you realize, and I always try to tell this, I don't know if you ever listen to any of my stuff. I try to tell these guys, one and done services, you've got to be at $500 an hour or you're not making any money. You literally aren't making any money. But people, when you tell them that number, they're like, oh, that's no, I'm happy to make $60 an hour. And I'm like, $60 an hour is not covering your expenses.
No, it's not. Well, and that's why I started my coaching program. So back in 2024, early in 2024, the Lord burdened my heart, literally, to start this coaching program. And he gave me a chapter and a verse, and like I know the place, the time where he gave it to me. And it was 1 Corinthians 10:24, and the verse literally says, let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth. And that verse is the key to why I started my business, because I was so burdened, Ron, with people calling me stressed out, freaking out, not knowing the next steps, losing their businesses. And I started studying, man. And do you know in the United States of America, there are over 33 million small businesses. Now, what that means is a small business is any business that has 500 or less employees. That's a big number. 500 employees, think about that. That's still deemed a small business in this country. Well, in the richest country on earth, 33 million small businesses. In the first 1 to 3 years, 70 to 73% of those businesses close their doors. And then other people open the doors and they try again. And somebody else mortgaged their house. Somebody else stifled their kids' college fund. Somebody else cashed out their 401k to try a hope, a dream, and a prayer on leaving a legacy. And then they burn out and they go out and they fold and they shut their doors. So it really hurt my heart, man, that people literally are suffering trying to do something phenomenal. So that's why I started my coaching business, is if I can help somebody collapse time, if I can help somebody believe faster, if I can help somebody think bigger, man, I get emotional, man, but sign me up. I want to help people fly with less friction and fly higher and think bigger and reach goals that they never even thought were possible. You're talking to an ex-drug addict, man, that should be dead by now. And God's been so good to me. And I just want to help somebody flourish and leave a legacy. Absolutely. My son-in-law runs my company now. And I'm so thrilled every time I walk out the door and I see his trucks and I see his progress. And I'm like, man, thank God I was able to give something to him to leave a legacy. Praise the Lord, man.
Do you realize those numbers you gave? And it's funny because I wonder with the coaching, let's face it, coaching has become a big thing in the last 4 or 5 years, become a big thing. I wonder what that number is going to be in 10 years. I wonder if that number is going to be a better number because, when you look at 4 out of 5 people fail, that's 20% of the people are going to have a chance to make it. And I wonder what the stats will be in even 2 or 3 years where if you can measure it, we can't. People that actually took out the time to invest the money to get the training, to get what they need to get to run a business. And like you said, cut that learning curve off. We have all of our buddies. You did it you wasted how much time of your life?
Oh my God.
Yeah, you wasted a ton of time of your life. I wasted at least 10 of my 41. Yeah. And I had some pretty good mentors. I mean, my grandfather entrepreneur, my parents entrepreneurs. Nobody's had a job in my lineage for probably a century. So it's even tough because we all know this too. Business, man, you got to be like a chameleon because it changes. And you gotta change with it. And man, it's changing right now. And people I don't even think realize the change, and you bring up another point that when you get somebody that can expedite things, take some of that learning curve off, people all the time, like, I don't want to spend the $10,000 or $20,000 on that, but they'll blow $20,000 on an EDDM marketing campaign that yields less than 1%, but they don't want to spend 10 or 20,000 on some knowledge to learn how to build a funnel that will bring in business for the rest of their lives. Oh, and by the way, be able to be used in anything in the future that they want to move forward on.
Well, here's the thing I want you to think about. And if you're watching this, I really want to challenge your thought process here. Every, now I didn't say some, all essential and monumental superstars in any arena of sports. I didn't say everybody that plays sports. I said the monumental superstars, the dudes that everybody knows their name. Every one of those people have personal coaches that train them in fitness, that train them in physical diet, that train them in mental health, that train them in their throwing, their running, their jumping. I know what I'm talking about. Every one of them have coaches specifically designed for a specific area. Like, I'm not a coach that's going to help you create a better CPA system. That ain't my lane. I'm not a coach that's going to help you build a better pressure washing rig. It's not my lane. I don't care about your pressure washer. I can do what you do with a 5-gallon bucket of bleach and a garden sprayer, bro. Your pressure washer ain't impressing me. I promise you it ain't. I know that might hurt your feelings, but it ain't. I'm just telling you. I'm here to help you shift your mind into believing that you're more than you really are, help you increase your communication, increase your presentation skills. When doing that, increase your ROI, increase your average ticket. And not only that, help you understand and teach you how to become a leader that you can actually hire people that will follow you. And so if you become a better leader, a better communicator, a better salesperson, and a better implementer, I'll quadruple anything that you think is possible right now if you'll do those 4 things. And that's all I want to do, because you can take that to any business.
Chris, tell these guys how they get a hold of you. Tell them, let's tell them how they get a hold of you.
Yeah. So you can look me up. I'm on LinkedIn, Chris Johnson, or Chris Johnson Leadership, Facebook, Chris Johnson, or Chris Johnson Leadership Services. You can also give me a call. I'll give you my number. It's 843-504-8035. That's my personal cell phone number right here. This is my number. I actually will answer it. And if I don't, I will call you back. Guarantee that. Because I want to help you. I want to serve you. And so that's what I'm here for.
And I just tossed up your Facebook so these guys can get a hold of you there. There it is right there, guys. If you guys want to get a hold of it, it'll be in the description after the podcast too. Man, I got to tell you, we went 35 minutes, but I think that was, we went 37 minutes. We only were going to go 30, but we went that. I think we covered everything. I just want to tell these guys one thing, and this kind of goes along with the luxury service thing. I think they'll get it because I've been saying it for years. I don't look for dirty places. I look for clean ones. And everybody that understands that really understands that, ding, 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 tied in luxury service. People that have dirty places don't care. And sometimes the reason they don't care is they don't have any money. Okay.
Right.
That's just the reality of it. And everybody goes all the time. They sit there and they go, but Ron, what about these places that are filthy? I go, they're filthy for a reason. You know, they're filthy for a reason, you know, and I'm not saying, we all know there's the anomaly. There's somebody that either decided now they're going to change. They're going on a different path. So they want their place to look good. I got to tell you, man, I wanted to give that one tip, but I got to tell you another luxury service that's out there that I remember I got washers watching this one. Man, pickleball court cleaning.
Oh yeah.
Has become an exclusive genre of its own thing. And people are making all kinds of money doing it because it's a luxury item.
Yes.
And the only people that have those things are people that have a lot of money. Nobody's installing a pickleball court in the backyard if they're broke. Nobody. No. But everybody that installs one wants to play on it all the time, and they want it cleaned regularly. And I'll tell you, I got 2 buddies. They're making like $50,000 a month. 2 of them just cleaning pickleball courts. It's crazy.
That's a big deal,
it's
man.
Crazy.
Well, hey, you asked me earlier, and I did want to finish up and sum up. So to onboard with my program, it's so simple, guys. There's not a lot to it. I'm the most simplest guy you could meet. I'm just an Horry County redneck, man. I just love hunting, fishing, living every day. I love making people happy, smiling, and just enjoying life. So my thing is super simple. You call me, message me, DM me, or text me on my phone. I will reach out to you, and we'll set up a time when we will do a free 30-minute deep onboarding where I'll see if I'm a good fit for you, and I want to see if you're a good fit for me. And if we're not a good fit, it's cool. You got a cool 30-minute leadership deal that didn't cost you anything, and you get to implement it in your life. And if we're a good fit, you'll pay the money. We'll roll out, and you start coaching with me, and we do one-on-one coaching. I do group coaching. I do in-person training with my clients once a year. We do personality training, in-depth sales training, and really, really high-level leadership training. So you're going to get a lot of stuff with my program, but just reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to hear your wonderful story, how you're winning. And if I can help you, wonderful. If not, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Just keep winning.
That's awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. Appreciate you having you there, man.
Thank you too. Appreciate
Super duper. Ron Musgraves, Pressure Washing Institute, Contractors First. We're out of here.